Welcome to the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, MedCab podcast. We're about to get into these love episodes. Yeah, what's it called? The reason I decided to do these episodes is because I had gone through a breakup. And I was like, just kind of fucked up for a little bit. But, you know, men take it a little harder sometimes. Saying we be soft sometimes, trying to act like we tough. But whatever. But yeah, so I started looking out to couples that I really look up to and I believe in, you know. And this first episode, I have my homegirl, saying my mother, my sister, saying my friend, everything, you know, saying, she, saying I've her and her partner, so we interviewed them to see what's going on, to try and get that medicine, to pull that out, to see what makes their relationship work, like the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, and why it's a good fit, how she knew this and that, when, like, these feelings that we go through. And I feel she does a great job of describing, both of them do a great job of describing what's going on. Lindsay Slay and Tubafresh. But let me know how y'all feel. But check out the episode. But here we go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. See you guys. How long you guys been together?
4 years.
4 years?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
And so I think I was there pretty much the
whole time?
Yeah, the whole time.
I remember when I first met Lindsay.
Yeah, and I've seen you guys grow together, you know, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So, so how'd you guys meet?
Yeah, tell it.
We met at Henrietta Hudson's, which like all lesbians know.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
like,
That's
pretty.
That's the spot right there?
That's the spot.
It's
like
spot.
the ratchet, like fun dance spot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you go there.
Was it reggae night?
Was it reggae night? I don't know. It was like Latina night.
Okay.
It was like what do you call it? Like reggaeton night.
this
Okay.
was back when they had like a cage and girls dancing in it, and you can like get in the cage if you want. But anyways, we didn't meet totally randomly. Our mutual friend Mijin
Oh, okay.
had like invited us both there.
Yeah.
And we talked for we said hello, and like I was kind of just running out with my friends, and I was gonna leave, and then Chanel was like, "Oh, you're leaving?" And I had like no idea she was like even paying attention to me. And I'm like, "Yeah." So I kind of had maybe a thought that she was interested, but then the next day I saw Mijin, our friend, and she's like, "Oh, so." She made it sound like Chanel asked about me. She's like, "What do you think about Chanel?" And I was like, "I don't know." I'm like, "We'll see." I'm like, "I'm not really, like looking to date more people." But she's like, "Okay." And then she said the same kind of thing to Chanel, where she was like,
Oh, she was playing
she
Love
made it sound
Connection.
like I was asking about Chanel. And both of us later were like, "We didn't ask about each other."
All right.
But Chanel, I did like an Instagram like faux pas. I didn't even realize. Like I went through Chanel friended me on Instagram. And I went through her account deep, and then I liked some sexy selfies of her, but not trying to be like, hey, just because I like them genuinely. And then
from 2-3 years ago, something like that.
I've also always been the best Instagram liker, on things where back in the day only 4 people liked random posts every time.
Instagram
You're very
follower.
supportive Instagram.
And then right after that, she emailed, like 2 minutes later, I'm working at work, and 2 minutes later, she emailed me like, "Hey, you want to go out?"
Oh, shit.
She definitely
Very cute.
took that as a sign, which.
Oh, wait, I am so sorry. Before we go any further, I forgot to say the artistry where I know Chanel from is from Tubafresh, and we used to play in a band together for a couple of years. And we also went to school together at Manhattan School of Music.
Yeah.
And then the host we have today is TJ, saying Lindsay and Sean. Richie should be here. And today we have a guest host today, saying the guy that saying who's supposed to. I would never get it. Yo, we got Ben Brody in the house.
Ben Brody.
Not gonna bring it there just yet. We're on the first glass. But no. So you guys have met at this. What's the name of the club again?
Henrietta Hudson.
Henrietta Hudson. That's in Brooklyn, or?
It's in Manhattan.
It's in Manhattan?
Down by Christopher Street.
Just out of curiosity, quick tangent. Are there more meeting spots for for lesbians or LGBTQ in Brooklyn or Manhattan? Would you say? Or Queens, or which one? Right. Which borough is most popular?
Well,
It's
it
mostly
changes.
like the queer
It
parties
changes a lot
that
because
rotate around, and those are in Brooklyn a lot now.
Yeah, but there's like a history of like gay bars and stuff in like a very specific area in the lower East Side? Or
Lower East Side?
What do you call that? The village?
Where, like around where,
Like around like
Stonewall.
West Christopher Street.
that's
There's,
more,
like,
yeah,
it's
it's more
like-
west. Side.
It's like historic,
That's
because like Stonewall happened there and all
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
Harriet Hudson has been there for a while, and so that's like a go-to spot. There's a couple of spots like in that area for like gay women or women, but now it's like more about like people who are like curating parties, and they could throw those parties wherever, at any venue. It's more about like the curators, because I feel like queer culture has changed so much since then. That's why when you go to Harriet Hudson, it's like a specific kind of crowd.
Okay, it's like the wilder type of people, or
It's like
more
like,
outgoing, more people. You say?
It's like a little bit like older in a sense sometimes, and it's a little bit more like aggressive, and it's a little bit more like old school feel.
Okay.
Like
People are gonna dance up on you, and like it's just,
yeah, and it feels
Okay.
very like singular in terms of like gender expression. It was like, if you go to a party in Brooklyn, and gender and sexuality is all mixed up.
Yeah.
It seems a lot more diverse in Brooklyn.
I see.
Yeah.
So like when you guys like first started dating, like what are some things in common like that just right off the bat that like kind of attracted to you guys, each other, like just as friends, saying it, or Can you think of anything? Or
I think music was an initial connection.
I
Just
think
like
it was an initial connection.
I remember she was playing. I came over for like our first date, and she was playing Christian Scott, who she was like obsessed with at the time. Like, and I like.
Y'all probably remember that.
I think I was just talking about like my roommates as musicians, and I was using like language that like let her know that like I know about music, and she got excited and was like, "Oh, cool!" Like I forget.
Yeah, I think I found out that she like played piano for 10 years.
Okay.
As a kid, so I felt like I could talk about stuff and she understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like rather than like dating someone who has no idea what music even is.
Yeah, one thing I realized if the person doesn't like hasn't studied music or doesn't really know somebody, like really know somebody that studied music, they can't adjust to the lifestyle of a musician, saying as far as the hours saying of practice we got to put in sometimes, because I remember practicing sometimes, and like past girlfriends might getting frustrated with hearing the same excerpt over and over again,
Yeah.
or like if you're going on tour with a show, happens to play some of those stuff or prepare for an audition or something. But and like even the hours coming in late night could be a struggle. Like how was that something you had to adjust to, Lindsay? Or?
Yeah, no, that even though I like love and appreciate music and like played music growing up, I never had been with somebody who was a musician or like toured or had that be a big part of their life. So I remember like that was an adjustment when you would be on tour. We would be able to talk much, but
Wait, it didn't scare you too much.
No, it didn't scare me because I felt like really strongly about having my own life, my own like independence. So it kind of worked out well. It still does. That she is away a lot and has her own thing going on because it gives me space to be with my friends.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and how we started our relationship was like we were dating other people. Like she was dating other people, and so it didn't start off like not a relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it started out very open like that, and then so it wasn't like she's very independent, and we don't have to be up on each other like all the time, and we don't have to be at the same place all the time with each other. So I feel like when you establish something like that, if you have personalities that match like that, then it's easier, because if I go on a tour and I don't call her for a day, it's not the end of the world. It's not like she feels like, oh my God, like I can't believe what's she doing there, And I think there's a level of trust for me too that she probably had, and like.
I felt like I learned early on, like, Chanel's not the type to go, like, sleep around or just, like, like connect so quickly with someone that she would do something that I'd be upset about. So I never felt insecure when she was on tour that like something like that would happen.
Yeah.
But also I think a big part of this too that works is like I like love being a part of the music stuff that I can share with her, like going to shows, and obviously I've like tagged along on a lot of things because I genuinely enjoy it, and I think that has worked well for us. Like I could be a part of that world in a certain way.
Things from like past relationships, like how has that like affected like how much you care for each other, like saying like the things that you learned from like past relationships that you didn't like or that you really like about each other, like vice versa.
I think I'm sure like past relationships totally have an impact on how you see. I think if anything, what I learned from past relationship is like my like self-worth. Like I think that when sometimes you're in relationships with people that are not giving you maybe the kind of thing that they're not, there's no like same reciprocation. There's no like
trustful.
The level of giving and taking could be on different levels.
Yeah.
And I think when you're so deep in it,
yeah,
you don't see it. So your whole shit is just like messed up. When you step away from it and you see, wow, there's someone out there that can give me the same exact kind of like thoughtfulness and care and love and support that I want to give them and I can give them.
Yeah.
You start to realize that like what your self-worth was, it was at a lower level at that time. So when you find, so that's like how I feel like I learned what I learned from like take away from my relationships is it's not really like about another person, it's about like me and like what I was accepting at that point and what was acceptable to me and like what I realized like is possible when you find someone who like actually like cares and wants to meet you at a certain level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's some real shit right there. To call any.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot about like myself from past relationships and like learned about the like how like developmentally where you're at I think means everything, like matching up with the right timing and like wanting the same things at the same time. I think that's always been off in different relationships I've been in. So then like when I met Chanell and it just like naturally kind of happened.
What was it partially like right place, right time type of thing? Or was it like there was like a major growth like together also, you know?
Yeah, like not right off the bat. Like I think it has to like grow and mature, but I think we both realized we wanted like the same big things in a relationship and in life together, and we were both like over time ready for that together. Whereas like in the past, I haven't been, or the person I was with hasn't been there, and that's like you don't know that until like years go by. Sometimes.
Like examples, like what, like kind of things, like yeah, like where's
like if you're the type of person that like you know that you want to spend your life together,
yeah,
or you want to have kids, or you know,
even like not like moving around or going to school or like just going through like a lot of different things you go through when you're younger, or like just trying to figure out where your like your career is going to be like, how
that
until it impacts you. Yeah,
to know yourself well enough to be able to say this is what I want, and seeing if that person's interested, not just like tagging along to see if you could like maybe change their mind.
Yeah.
Or maybe something's gonna change about them or something like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, change I've done. That
one hit something.
I mean, yeah. For me, I feel like I became very aware of time. We're not here. I might not be here tomorrow. We all might, you know what I mean? Like time is a very precious thing, and you know, when you realize that it's not like I don't think I ever wasted any time in any relationship I've been in, but you know what I mean, there's a certain type of like you know, I could have been I even if I wasn't with you, like maybe I could have been spending better time with myself, or I could have maybe been putting in some extra time on this thing if it wasn't going to be in a place that we both want it to be, You know what I mean? Instead of just trying to like think, oh, maybe things will change, maybe their mind will change, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe things will be different, you know. But we've definitely grown a lot together. I mean, you know, I don't think relationships are interesting really if you're not really growing with each other or feel like, you know, there's ways that you can help each other grow. You know, that's how I feel like I wouldn't want to be with someone who trying to keep me in the same kind of frame.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Now I saw this post by Sydney Phoenix, you know, saying young Phoenix the guy, you know. But it said relationships is about helping each other grow, you know,
yes,
and like
yesterday.
Yeah, and like
I liked it.
Yeah, I think that's dope, you know. Yeah, he's actually
Who is he?
he's actually going to be
Oh.
part 3. Yeah, him and his girl.
Also,
Nice.
Got a crazy vibe.
music artist. It's a good image because there's flower pots on each of the people's heads, and they're watering each other. I was gonna say, it's interesting that you guys talk about how things work because you preserve each other's independence. But I think what's very noticeable about your relationship is that you actually do a lot of things together, such as being in a band. You know, like you go on day trips a lot, you go on weekend trips a lot, you go on cross-country trips to California, you go to the gym together and you post about it in your stories, and we're all watching and loving it. I think that those are the things that, you know, we see that we've been inspired by. So it's interesting that you talked about specifically the space as being the thing that helps make it work.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think we spend more and more time together, and I think we feel like confident enough in our own sense of self to like not feel like we lose that. Because I think like this is not just a lesbian relationship thing, but like it does happen where you like.
But the stereotype is.
Yeah, like it can be real. Like you do everything. You feel like you cannot go out without the other person because you feel like you're so connected, you're so intertwined, and like you feel so comfortable with that person. And that like.
And then you start feeling uncomfortable again around other people.
Yeah.
If they're not there. I mean, I'm sure straight people can relate.
Yeah, I'm sure it can happen in any kind of relationship, but I've seen it happen, and I've been in that situation where it happens with another woman, and then you start to like lose a lot of the great things that you felt like you saw in each other. You lose yourself, and then it like doesn't work out. You can't really go back from that. So I think I went into it, and I think you did too.
You could always go forward. You can always go into it, but you can't really.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've gotten to the point where we do share a lot of things because it feels right, not just because like we're comfortable clinging to each other. Yeah.
Also, all of that kind of stuff though has to like support. You know, like if I'm going to the gym, like I won't like it's great to have your partner because it's like a support. You know what I mean? Like you know, Ben too. Like I'm sure like has done stuff like this with his girlfriend. Like you know, go do physical activities together because really it's like part of their routine. But if you do it together, you know that. I think you think there's possibilities of me getting to my goal, or maybe this could be really a part of my lifestyle if my partner goes with me, or at least sometimes.
That's one thing because I know Chanell better than I know Lindsay, you know what I'm saying? And like, the way you've held her down over the years, and like, I was my boy, I'm not gonna say his first name, but St. Jacques, you know, and we were out somewhere, and like he would get frustrated at times, you know, but then his baby girl would call, and then like he'd be a whole new person, man. It was just kind of calm him down real quick, and like no.
Excited to see where you connect this back.
Because when we were in the band, like when we're in the band, you were basically like the mother of like 9 of the people, and I've tried like with this podcast, I got 4 other people that I'm working with, and that shit could be helped, you know what I'm saying? And and I saw how saying just a call or just saying talking to her, saying or just even having her around on the call, saying what just put you in a different space.
Yeah.
And like the way you held down my people, saying I appreciate that, you know. And like even what I'm hearing now, the support, you know, saying all the other things too, saying is a deep thing, you know, is an important thing. That's a part of the growth, you know.
So can y'all describe? Because I've seen y'all play together in Tubafresh. And it's the most magical thing. Please describe your songs in Tuba. There's a lot of love songs.
It's a lot of love songs.
Yeah. And when y'all sing them, it's always just like, oh, yeah. When y'all sing, it's great. So how does that feel? Does it feel like magic? Like when y'all first made that connection, and you started doing it, was it just like sparks flying and like.
It honestly felt that way for me because I was like brand new to performing like music on stage when I did it with Tubafresh, and so like getting and I obviously had like, you know, seen Chanell perform 9 times, so like being on stage with her and like being a part of her music and like looking over, like watching her for cues, and then I'm just like really vibing with like how she's feeling on stage, and like I actually feel that.
Whatever you just described is literally for the image that came to my head. It was like Chanel's like, my fucking mic's not loud enough, and Lindsay's like, yes. It's like completely different, like, cause like, you know.
I'm just like happy to be there.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love it.
yeah.
And it's so cool for me because I've seen her write and like develop these songs, and she would like ask my opinion about things, or I would like give my little 2 cents, and then to like get to actually perform it, it's been like, it's really nice.
It's really cool. Like it's really cool because the where I felt like sparks was like when she's like there with me making the songs. Because, you know, I'm really bad at harmony. I'm a melody. I can't believe I play bass line, you know, because melody, I love melody. I could hear it, but I can't hear harmony. But she could hear harmony, so sometimes I would ask for her suggestions on harmonies, you know, for certain songs, like On and On. Like, she made up the harmony to that song. And that was like the first song I think that I ever really tried to do harmony on. I mean, there's some Pitch Black songs, but I probably other people in Pitch Black helped the harmony, like Brian Walters, like people that have really good ears for underneath music. So when we would be in there, and I write something and come in, I play for her. I feel like she's like the most honest. She like doesn't try to like save my feelings. You know what I mean? Like it's like she just tells me what she thinks.
She'll tell you if it's trash.
She would tell me.
She like a nice way.
She would say like, I like the other one better. You know, like, and then I know that was trash. You know what I mean? But on stage it's more like I know I can tell her and talk to her about stuff that she might not be like, you know, doing so well, or stuff that she is doing well and she's not gonna get upset with me or frustrated, because that is really hard. Like, I don't know if anybody else have had relationships with other artists or musicians. I've had one before, and it's like extremely hard to like be in a band with someone that you really love, just because there's so many undertones. But I feel like she gets it. I think she's seen in my worst moments with like, you know, talking to band members. So I feel like
Y'all never seen me like this.
And I always will tell her when she's being too mean to the band.
Yeah. So I feel like she could like understand she understands she understands me on a more complicated level of my basic speech. You know what I'm saying? So I could say something really basic and like maybe it comes across mean, or, you know, she could like dive deeper and say, you know what, like, I'm not gonna fuss with it, which I really appreciate, you know. But it's very easy because she practices more than I do.
Yeah. So
wait, hold on. This is a really good lead into a question that I didn't even know that I had. But I read this one of those like list articles, not quite BuzzFeed, but something like that. That was listing off like who are the people that are the most least likely, not the most likely, to be in a successful relationship, and on that list was like therapist, social worker.
Oh no!
And everything that you were just saying about Lindsay's, like what she brings in terms of like how she is able to communicate through these, you know, maybe more like difficult moments where you're struggling with, you know, creating art and the emotion that's in that without getting caught up in the emotion, but just sort of helping you process through. Like all I'm hearing is social worker. And so I'm just I'm wondering if for Lindsay, if that is something that has been a dynamic in other relationships that for some reason in this one it works better, maybe. Like, has anybody ever been frustrated by your level of support as a social worker? Yes.
No, I think you would know. Yeah, I think I definitely take on like the helper role in my relationships. Like, I want to always be helping people like process things and like see things maybe they're not connecting with, and like people don't always want to do that, and so that might be annoying. Or I feel like I have gotten feedback about like, I don't know how you can be too supportive. Like, if you're being honest, if you're like being genuine, like, you know, I don't see that as a bad thing. But yeah, people are not always comfortable with it, or they feel subconscious that they feel like they're the ones that have like a lot of issues that have to be supported. I don't know, but I think it like I've never seen Chanell get really frustrated with me being too like, you know,
because I don't really feel like you're like that. You know, there are moments where I'm like, she's being completely like therapist, like
I push her sometimes.
Like I see
She's reading me.
Yeah. But I don't think she does it as often as I don't think she's like in that mode, you know. And there were times where I totally wanted to talk about shit, and she was like, like, no, you can't, you shouldn't talk. I don't want to talk about this. Not like that, but like
when I'm mad.
No, like just like man, I would be venting, you know, like every day.
Like unhealthy,
like unhealthy,
ruminating,
like stuff. She'd be like, no, like we're not doing this anymore. And
it's not a functional way of
coping
with your problem.
Who am I supposed to talk to about this? You know what I mean? She was like, I don't know, but not me. So I feel like there comes a time,
Not because I be venting too sometimes, you know, and then I've seen where it can backfire if the person's not ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and
it's a lot.
And then when they backfire, saying I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
That's kind of how it is. It's like you could make your actual relationship that is supportive to you start being like not supportive but
codependent.
No, it's just kind of like
could wear on the person in a way that you don't mean for it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I said that to you. Like, it's a rare situation where
it was rare, and I was shocked.
And it's because I was feeling burnt out on hearing the same thing, and I felt like you weren't getting
and
anywhere with it. So it wasn't helpful for you. It was like getting annoying for me. So. Yeah. And you respected that. You were like, I'm not supposed to complain to you about pitch black, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
There's always the point too where like my girlfriend, if I'm like venting, she'll be like, so what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
And then it's like,
solution?
And then if I don't have like an answer, then it's just like that's the conversation just ends. Because then it's just like,
release your anger.
And then or it's like I say this is what I'm gonna do, and she's like, okay, there it is, you know. And she'll have that conversation.
Yeah.
She'll have that conversation of like, well, that may not be a good idea. Maybe you should try this. And like vary it, you know.
No.
And then you come up with a solution, but rather than like just kind of like.
That's great. That's really good because
crazy about it.
That's like what Lindsay would tell me sometimes, and I'd be like, and I wasn't at a place that
control the things you can,
you know,
the things you can't, you know.
So, yeah. I was gonna have a therapist response, but I think specifically in that article, it was talking about how the reason that it can be an issue is because therapists can sometimes like almost take on a role of like looking at other people's problems, but not necessarily looking at their own. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily think that would be the case for Lindsay, but it makes me think about like the opposite end of like I've had people like for me say to me like I'll be trying to communicate and the response will be like I feel like you're trying to be my therapist when it's like basically I'm like no I'm trying to express my feelings and figure them out and I don't do that with my clients type of thing. So it's interesting how it can come up in different ways that are negative on either end.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about negativity. But
Wait, what'd you say?
No.
That's the next question.
What'd you say? Speaking of negativity,
like how do you guys one thing that is important, saying like my best of friends, my family, saying like the girls that I still feel closest to, you know, it's like there's an element of you got to be able to argue. You know what I'm saying? And I mean like serious shit. You know what I'm saying? And how do you guys handle like arguments, or if you have an example you could share of like a big argument or something, or also the question I had wrapped in with this is like jealousy. How do you guys deal with jealousy if that ever comes up? Because I'm a jealous type. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, well,
no phones, no computers. You better use a dial-up. Nah. No, but yeah, just curiosity.
Well, I think we could talk about both of our perspective, and maybe you guys have stuff of your own. But big fights, you can talk for yourself, but I don't feel like we've had like huge fights or arguments. If there's anything that we've had huge fights or arguments about, it's about jealousy.
From
I think we asked that
you or
together.
from her?
Jealousy from me. I was
People hitting on Lindsay or something?
stuff like that. Like, this goes so deep. I don't even know if you have the time to really get into this.
Yeah.
But in the first couple years that we started dating, I think I would tell Ben about it sometimes. I don't even know if he remembers. But the first couple years of us started dating, I had some like major issues with jealousy. Major. Unlike any relationship I've ever been in. And I think it has a lot to do with a lot of things. But
Is that from the past, or is that from upbringing?
Probably a little bit to do with it. She's really beautiful and really cool.
just a little bit. It had a lot to do with that. And
That has to do with like
it has a lot to do with
all kinds of things.
I
like-
think
like-
should we just answer the question of argument first so we get past it and then go on to this?
Yeah. So
Do you
yeah,
feel like we've
the
had
biggest fights I can think of are about this issue and like where Chanell be upset that like, you know, a guy did something happened and I think her only way of dealing with it was like being frustrated with me that I didn't like react differently.
Somebody touched their elbow?
Is that your elbow?
What?
Is
that a thing?
Someone touched your elbow?
Yeah, like hey, yo!
Was it a Caribbean spot?
And I would like blow up at her when she would react this way to me. I would like it was a trigger
was
for me
like-
because from past experience I felt like
You didn't trust me or some shit?
well mostly like I don't want to be controlled and you can't tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Even though I felt like I didn't violate any kind of trust or betray her in any way, it was more like my own sense of like
Independence.
yeah like and like feeling like it was almost like a macho kind of a thing, and like masculinity and like the fact that we're a gay couple, like all this plays a big piece of it, which is like the deeper stuff Chanel's alluding to, and like we can unpack that for a while, but it's a lot of things, and it just took time for us to. I felt like it was never like scary because we would always like make progress. Like each argument, like we would be able to process it later, even if like not in the moment. Like if Chanel's really upset, she can't like process it right then, but then later she'll come back with some really insightful shit about, like, and I realized that she heard everything I needed her to hear, and then she's willing to try and like think of it and do something different next time. So all of that made it like progress each time we thought about it, and then after a few years, like really it's been something that we don't struggle with.
Yeah. But in the beginning, it's like all of this stuff that's like going on right now, like Time's Up and like Me Too. I think we have to understand. Well, not we, but everyone has to understand that all of those kind of male privilege of masculinity, also very much seeps into the queer community, and it seeps into, you know, gender roles, regardless of how you're biologically born.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that kind of stuff that came up for me and for us had a lot to do with that. And it had a lot to do with feeling overlooked by men. So, for example, if I'm walking on the street with her, I would feel like overlooked in a way that...
Like it doesn't matter we're together.
It doesn't matter that...
These niggas ain't got no respect.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly how it felt. And it felt like really deep, and it felt very like hurtful. and because you would see it, you could see it across the street that if a man and woman walking down together, another man is not gonna like talk to your girlfriend or look at her for really long or offer her a cigarette or a light or whatever. You know what I mean? There's little tiny things that, you know, maybe straight people take for granted and what they don't notice is stuff that I really had to deal with, and I really had to like figure out my own like masculinity. And
do you think that's partially like people shit. Just yeah, so I meant to ask you because we're about to get into the whole. My next set of questions is like some lesbian shit, but like I was trying to find a gay couple to interview.
First of all, I don't love the word lesbian, so let's.
All right, I was trying to
limit how many times we say that on.
All right. Audio. I respect that. Can I say male gay couple? Gay couple? I was trying to find
gay couple.
A male gay couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find any. None of my gay friends are like any serious relationships that I necessarily believe in, you know. But
why were you wanting to interview a gay couple?
I was trying to get. I was trying to get all sorts of couples that I believe in, interracial, lesbian, black couples, like white couples, and like the top 3 that I found was a black couple, interracial lesbian couple, and then like interracial heterosexual couple. Yeah, and like that's what I came up. And I wanted to have 2 gay males, but
just hasn't happened yet. We got time.
Most of my male friends on some gay male friends on some wild shit. But yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
This is the first of the series, so it's quite possible that there will be a gay couple that will manifest. And
I'm trying to put this shit out in March, so it might not happen. But like,
could be a different season.
Yeah, that's possible. But yeah, now I was wondering. Just talking about just straight up nature, like the man being like just disrespectful like that, like guys running up on you, and like I even see that in gay men. You know what I'm saying? I've been flirted with by a gay man, like, and I'll be like, I'll try to be like, I'm not gonna be like, yo, get the fuck off of me up like that, but I'll just be like, you know what I'm saying, and like, and I'll just try to dodge out the way here and there, but they'll just be very aggressive, you know.
You talking about like specifically like street harassment sort of things?
Nah, this is just be at a bar with a gay friend or something. He might get drunk.
Because I think it sounded like that's what resonated with the what you guys were talking about.
Right.
Is like when walking down the street,
Yeah.
which is something that I could see.
But I was wondering, do you think that's a part of like all men, or just like this case to case type person, like that savagery, you know, like
all men?
Just hashtag not all men.
not all,
I think it's absolutely not. I think it's just.
okay. I
was thinking about this today.
I say all men, but I mean like the majority.
I think
like the culture.
I
I mean, we got 3 men in the room.
I think it's all men. I do.
And you think it's science? You think it's science, or you think it's the way we were marketed, the way they
No, I
marketed
don't
our
know.
lives?
I don't know why it's all men, but like if a man was to say to me that they never thought a certain way or did certain things, I don't know if I could actually believe that.
Do you think there's a difference between thought and behavior? In terms of what we're gonna.
Oh yeah, I mean like of course, like behavior is like
does this?
is like action, you know, and
Yeah.
thought is like because like you can have thoughts and not act,
Alright.
you know. But what I'm saying is that I think it's like 90% men that have.
Dirty thoughts?
Aggressive
You
sexually.
don't think women have dirty thoughts?
No, I think that.
But they're more aggressive
I think
sexually?
that.
No,
What's that?
we're talking about the the belief of like, you know, like owning, like feeling a sense of ownership over women and like treating them as sexual objects. It's not like men are more. We're not saying men are more sexually aggressive.
Yeah, there's many things.
It's about, like,
There's many things happening here. Where I want to be clear about. Is that
Yo, cut us off at any moment, Sam.
no, I'm just saying that what Lindsay's talking about is the sense of men feeling like
entitled.
they're entitled to womankind. You understand what I'm saying?
It's not a thought like what does it look like up her skirt when you're on the train and you see an attractive woman. You having that thought isn't the same thing as you approaching a woman in a way that is not respectful of their space.
Yeah, disrespectful of like, you know, if we live in a different society and men and women, both, because you have to understand that regardless of sexuality, we both play a part and a role in how men are raised and how women are raised. And you know, if we were in a whole different society and this shit wasn't, it would be different. Men wouldn't be that way. So I really feel like it's like a nurture thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So what we're talking about though was just that, you know, there's no respect or there's no regard, you know, or there's limited regard through most men, straight men, who have this entitlement, have this privilege that two women can't be like completely cool,
right?
Like without their like intervention. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the respect thing comes from that. Like, well, don't they need men?
Yeah, like it's a real thing.
She will need me at some point. Right. And whether they're talking about me or mankind, it's like the same kind of thing. So that all boils down to like how we're respected, disrespected on the street. You know what I mean? Or how I felt like very personally disrespected.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about.
So with the argument is like she had said like you would say some like the argument would happen, you'd go away from it, she would say some things to you, and you would process those things. You know, could you give like 2-3 examples of some of those things that were major?
Do you remember? I feel like it's like
it's in the past, under the rug. It's all good if it is.
It's never under the rug. It's more like it's more like I've like tried to like understand like my emotions before I bring it. You know what I mean? Like it's I still feel those things.
You understand like the nurture part that you was talking about?
Like I understand like my role. Like my role, if my role isn't to like take negatively what I felt or and what happened from a man to bring negativity into our relationship or to her personally, which is what I was doing. Yeah. I would bring like blame, like you know what I mean, like if you know what I mean, like if it happens in the ton relationships. Like,
I know exactly
like,
what you're talking
blame
about.
to her when really I'm just upset at that dude.
You blame the one closest to you.
Yeah, that you can say that stuff to you.
But when she talked to me and I realized that I am spiraling the exact opposite of what I want. Or or the thing that's making me mad is the same thing that's influencing me to say these things about, well, why didn't you do this or why did this happen? Is this like this masculinity thing? It all boils down to the same horribleness, and I didn't want to like be. I didn't want
sense of ownership.
Exactly. I didn't want to like. I didn't want to no longer like be part of that machine.
Yeah,
because I was part of that when I was talking to her in that way, or if I was like bringing up a situation with her that I felt bad about and didn't know how to describe it, and when she would say to me, you know, X, Y, and Z, like I don't appreciate this, or this is not how we need to deal with this, or whatever, I would feel like, okay, I have to look inside myself and see how this whole construct of like gender norms and masculinity and femininity has been inside of me too.
Yeah, so do you think that, I mean, that's interesting to me because you talk about like that kind of hyper masculinity. Yeah. And do you think that's like kind of everywhere? Like that kind of false sense of like, you know, false sense of support. Like, you know, I'm dominant, I'm the dominant one. Because it was late night and I was right by Fulton Street. I was just trying to get some unhealthy food at like 3 in the morning. And it's, I guess these two girls were together. One of them, she was just so turned. She was just so disrespectful. Like, she wanted to do like, hey, yo, get my food. Like, yo, y'all gonna fucking fight this dude. And the other girls was like, yo, chill. And their male friend was like, yo, chill. Yeah. And she's like, nah. Then she's just like choking the girl and like, it was like some wild shit. And there was It was in Crown Heights. And there was an older lady there, like, she was just trying to sell makeup, and I bought her some chicken. And she's like, yo, fuck this old ass woman. Like, she ain't about shit. I'm like, damn. Like, I was like crazy, but I've seen that, you know, I rarely see, you know, I see that more in men a lot, you know, bros and shit. Yeah. And do you feel like that unhealthy kind of mindset is just everywhere? And like, I guess it's what people. I don't know. I guess it's not really. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an interesting point because I think women who maybe like present more masculine and feel comfortable and more masculine, like sometimes they take on that kind of like toxic masculinity to be more of that kind of a role. And really, you're just like becoming patriarchal in a way that like no women really want to be, but you don't even realize it. I'm not saying that's what Chanel has done.
As a black classical musician, you know what I'm saying, I find myself doing quote unquote niggerish things, you know, and I'm not sure all the time if it's under my own control or if it's like what I've been taught. So not in taught, but the things I happen to watch, you know, and like I don't know.
Maybe a role that you've fallen into because of...
I've been nurtured into, you know.
And not necessarily like family nurture.
But to switch topics real quick, this is some serious shit because I'm Jamaican, you're Trini, you know what I'm saying? And like homophobia is crazy over there, you know what I'm saying? We grew up listening to Jamaican music about Boniface Hole and all these things, you know? And like... with all this change around that's coming around now, you know, it's like it's real shit. Cause like, all right, I'm 12 years old. I go to camp, saying my first sleepover camp. My mother doesn't deal with no sleepovers, saying you gotta stay at home. You ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And like, I get to this camp now, and then like, I'm playing soccer, saying a kid named Jeff, saying plays flute, saying but like flute has nothing to do with it. But he just sounds really feminine. And I knew he was different from the rest of the boys, you know. And like, I had a feeling he was gay at age 12, you know. Saying, and like, maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong, you know. But I knew I didn't make fun of him. But I knew I was supposed to make fun of him and laugh at his voice and laugh at how high his shorts was. But he was helping me win soccer games. You know what I'm saying? So this man's my ace, you know what I'm saying? And like at an early age, I realized, saying, quote unquote, like what we were calling fairies back then aren't such bad people, you know what I'm saying? And like just dealing with like, because you can shut this conversation down if you want to. So you posted something that your mom had texted you the other day, and like that's some serious shit. Like how do you guys both deal with that, you know? Because I know that's got to be frustrating, you know? Mm-hmm. Saying not only for you, but for your friends, because you got to tell your friends about it, and then the community, which is your friends anyway, saying like that you talk to about it, like, as a Caribbean person, how do you deal with saying like, you know what I'm getting at?
You might want to start with what the actual post was.
Yeah.
Well,
you can say the post if you want. That's you and your family. That's your blood. I'm not going to expose that.
Well, we brought it up, so you know, my mom texted me. So my mom's in Trinidad right now, so you know she's not here. So we use WhatsApp.
She's on the Bible belt.
She's down there. So she texted me something which was like, I don't know. I haven't gotten a text from her in days or something, you know. And she just texted me something like, I guess she was feeling like sad for my uncle for whatever. Like I don't know what is going on with my uncle. I have no idea. But she texted me and she was like, let's pray to get all the evil out of our body, like alcohol and homosexuality and like something else. And it was just kind of like the most random thing, but I posted it because that kind of stuff happens to me from my mom like all the time. Like in ways that people would never think. Because
I thought it was dope because I remember because this the LGBTQA thing, like I remember being in high school saying, and I graduated 2002, and that shit wasn't popping like that. That wasn't the cool thing to be a part of, you know. And like I remember, like I got to college and I worked with a transgender person, saying it was a trans male, saying female to male, and like I remember him telling me, like parents kicked me out, and like his voice is changing, saying facial hair's coming in, shit looks different. Saying shit looks different, you know, and like it wasn't looking like the norm, you know.
Yeah.
And like I just knew it was just some extra shit that I didn't have to deal with.
That's kind of like why I posted it, is because
but the solidarity.
It was solidarity, like, because I know there's people out there. I know there's people out there that's like my age and younger that are going through that shit, and nobody fucking knows because they're just living life like you'd expect. They're getting up, they're doing what they have to do. They go to work, they come back. You know what I mean? I can't. It's been hard for me to have like limited or no support at home and still fucking manage to do the things that I do.
I know, it's very impressive.
You know what I mean? So, like that is why I did it, because this is something that like I wake up in the morning at 11 a.m. I was like literally at CrossFit when this happened, which is something I'm trying to like better my fucking life.
CrossFit?
You know what I mean? Like to not be depressed, to not be like overweight, to not fucking get diabetes, to not get hypertension, to live a longer life with someone that actually fucking cares. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is kind of thing that like, and then you turn your thing on and a message from your mom, and it's just kind of like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like okay, and you could choose for a whole cloud of depression to just like take over your fucking day, or you could like go fucking like do something. You know what I mean? So I just put it out there because there's a lot of people dealing with that stuff, and we would have no clue.
And like,
you know,
and like, I'm Caribbean, saying, and my mom would come home every day. I can't remember the day she didn't come home. Fucking shout at me for not washing the dishes, and like, just little shit, man. Just fucking always. I love my moms. Saying, don't none of y'all get this shit twisted.
We all love.
You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, like how do you deal with this shit? Like as far as, cause like I'll be straight up. Your moms be disrespectful, straight up disrespectful sometimes. Saying, cause that's your blood, and I understand like the culture we grew up in and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like it's 2018.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what like and like I know that's your mom's like, but like I'm just asking you like what is it like? Are you in the place right now where you're just like I'm just gonna be understanding of her, or is it like yo fuck you? What is it?
To be honest, Chris, like shit changes every day. I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
It's always an evolving process.
It's always evolving. It always changes because at the end of the day, I'm an only child. If my mom passes tomorrow, I gotta go deal with everything. You know what I mean? There's nobody else. I don't have the privilege of being like, well, fuck it, I moved to California and fucking like, you know, start my whole life because Sister A is gonna take care of that shit. So you know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's a thing. Like, I don't want to be disrespected. I don't want to be abused. I want acceptance. You know what I mean? I want for my family that I'm about to create to be in the fold. But it's like also that's my mother.
How's the rest of the Caribbean family?
I think it's like
50-40. I mean 50-50.
I would
40-60.
say it's like 80-20.
80-20 on which side?
Shit. Well, you know, Caribbean could never be completely anything. You know what I mean? Nobody in my family is gonna be like, yes, I'm so happy you're gay. So you 80-20. So you 80-20 on the thumbs up. Yeah.
All right.
But I would say in like not an American thumbs up, but like a Caribbean thumbs up.
Hey, those odds are better than my Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying?
But it's hard. You know, especially like. You know, we're about to get married.
Yeah, congratulations. I'll bring it up a little later.
Yeah. But
that up real quick.
That kind of stuff is important, you know.
Oh,
I just like.
It's very important for the future.
Like, I'm talking about getting kicked out of the house and stuff. Like, I was kicked out. I think like the only thing I could say about that is that I have much more faith in our future as Caribbean and as Black people than I do in the older generation. I have much more faith that me and you are gonna create something different here,
right?
And that we're gonna, and that hopefully we're gonna like, we're gonna raise our kids to be better. You know what I mean?
We're un-American, so what about the rest of you?
I think I've definitely influenced my family.
The kids our age, though. The ones our
my
age.
cousins and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've definitely influenced them, but not in the same sense as like us. Yeah, because we are in America. But hopefully, if any of my cousins end up having a gay kid, they're not gonna kick them out of the house. Because half the people that we see here in America.
I gotta get Lindsay's how she deals with the two before. My bad. Finish.
No. But half the reason that we see that there's most of the homeless youth in the United States or in New York is mostly people of color, mostly kids of color, and they're out there doing drugs, or it may be like prostitution.
Ain't nothing good out there.
Whatever, right? But whose fault is that?
I ran away from home for like 2-3 weeks, saying, "Ain't that shit good out there."
But I'm just saying, but like, whose fault is that, right? It's like the parents, it's the neglect, it's us, and it's us as black people. We have so many people out there, regardless of sexuality or gender or whatever, that can be great things, but we're not allowing them to grow because we're so fixated on this one thing. You know what I mean? And it's sad because as a people, we are a people. We gotta always remember that. We gotta always remember that we're a people, and that anything we do to our culture to damage it is a damage to our future, is a damage to the people around us, is damaging to our own kids.
Yeah,
you know
I think too, like as far as the black thing goes, like y'all know I grew up in South Carolina, Charleston.
God.
So down there it's like crazy because a lot of queer people or gay people are in the church, but yet they condemn it. I'm just like, when I was growing up, I was just like, is this a joke? Are y'all like kidding right now? And like it didn't make sense to me. And like I remember growing up, I would talk about my girlfriends or whatever. I was like really young, preteen. My mom caught me looking at some girl's thong or something like that. And I was just like, well, I'm not gay or whatever. I'm gonna look at this, what I see in my, and my dad thought it was funny. But looking back at it, I'm just like, wow, it's just like,
as long as you're not gay.
Yeah.
It's like, there's so many things that my mom rather me do than be gay. It's kind of like the worst.
So, but a curiosity I have is that, so you guys are getting married, and wait. Oh, I can't go there yet?
No.
Question. It connects, I promise.
No, it was the same question that I gave to Chanell that Lindsay didn't get a chance to answer. And I just wanted to know how you dealt, because one of the questions I had on my thing was like, how do you, like being, you said not to use the L word. What's the word?
So to limit it.
Gay.
All right, being a gay couple, like being a gay couple, being a gay couple, like how do you deal with like homophobic parents? Like, what was that journey like for you, personally?
Yeah, no, it's always super.
Like showing up in Trinidad, showing up in Uptown, like.
Yeah, well, I haven't shown up uptown yet, but we talked about just surprising her mom one day because I've never met her.
What about the distillery?
Not open to it. She didn't want to meet. We've been in the same space. Like when she's come to Chanel shows.
Caribbean's fucked up.
But she didn't want to meet, and we decided we shouldn't like push her. We should like respect her wishes. And later we found out, like 2 years later, we found out she feels like I'm rude because I didn't come up and introduce myself, even though she explicitly said, "Do not have her come up to me. I do not want to talk to her." You know what I mean? And she won't say my name. Like it's hard, So it's hard for her, and my way of dealing with it, I went into this from the very beginning and like telling Chanel up front, like, that's okay. Like, it's obviously not ideal. It's hard for both of us, but I'm not going to personalize it or make it about me. Like, it's hard for me because I see what Chanel has to go through, and I want the best for her, and I want support for her, so that's what makes it hard. And I have to deal with, there's like a sense of loss on my part, especially when we think about getting married and like not having her have a role in our lives is sad, but at the same time, like I'm aware that that's just the reality. And I've been in experiences in relationships before where that was the situation, and it was harder for me then, but now I feel like it's just how it is, and I hope it changes someday, but I also try to be realistic, and I try to like focus on what we do have in terms of support from friends and other family. And
I hope you guys listen to this called Ride or Die shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me get real close to the mic real quick. No, my bad.
I did go to Trinidad with her, and that caused quite a stir. But in the end, her family was amazing.
Did y'all go to church?
Of course not.
My family doesn't even go to church like that.
Her family was like really warm and welcoming, even though this was like very uncomfortable and new for them. It was like a wonderful experience for us, and I think even though some people still have like feelings about like being against gay marriage, like I know they like me. They've come here, they've like been a guest in our home, like they'll like get on the phone with me when they talk to her, and
it's almost like a battle. It's within the person, right?
Yeah.
Because they like meet her and they're like, oh, she's great, but then they're like,
a normal person.
gay marriage is terrible.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you know,
it does not compute.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the computer just like.
well, like I was saying, like they're not really making music like that no more. But back in the 90s, that shit was nuts.
Yeah, we were just listening to Buju Banton's song.
Oh gosh,
that was like that, and I was like, I'm gonna skip this because I don't want to give this a Spotify listen. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean it's.
But what is this? What are y'all talking about?
There's a lot of Jamaican,
like in the Caribbean, like pop music, like the most like Drake popular shit. It was just like Buna Fasiho. That means like burning.
It was like kill gay.
Like kill. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like that was like that's the pop music of like that's what I grew up grinding up on girls to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy shit.
Like,
and now
like
I thought it was bad on the song back then.
No. So it plays on the radio.
Yeah, that's why I had to cut y'all off and ask Lindsay how she dealt with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we were fucking grinding. Like,
but I have to say, though, you know, like, one thing about, like, you know, when Lindsay went there, Trinidadians and Caribbean people cannot not be, like, hospitable. You know what I mean? Like, they are the warmest people, and, you know, there's a certain type of, like, humanity, you know, that I have to say, you know, and, like, when I posted that thing on Instagram, like my cousin texted me, one of my cousins who lives up here now, she texted me, she has like 3 kids. How's it going? Like, she was like, man, your mom is out of control. You know what I mean? And my mom, you have to understand, my mom's like a very huge figure in my family. She's the boss. She's the
How tall is
second
she?
oldest.
6'3"? No, that ass.
My mom's pretty tall. But
6'2"?
you know, she's like, I don't know her. She's like something like that.
She's taller than you, TJ?
5'9".
She's like the same. She's the same size. She's like 5'10".
Yeah. So,
Not even that sounds
but she's a big. Yeah, she's a big. She's pretty tall.
Sure.
But anyhow, so she has like this domineering kind of like matriarch kind of, you know, more of a domineering.
I thought she was 6'3".
Yeah. So, you know, you kind of have to understand, you know what I mean? And then I have like a really supportive aunt who is amazing, and, you know, unfortunately, I'm like the first one. You know what I mean?
The first one to come out?
Lamb.
I'm the sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? So I'm taking shit for like generations of my family, hopefully.
But imagine who you inspire, like, you know, to be themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
hopefully, you know, Trinidad is tough. Trinidad is tough, a tough place to live in if you have different.
I just realized I don't know any gay people in my family. And I know there's a fucking gay motherfucker out there in my family.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying?
The percentages, you know, there's, especially like if you come from big families, you know. But anyhow, you know, I'm lucky in the sense that I'm American. Like, I can't imagine being gay in Trinidad. I can't imagine that life.
Yeah, it's like we keep on going into different shows and different topics, but how do you? Because like that American privilege, when I go abroad, you know, I'm like, damn, that's my white privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I felt that very young. I felt American privilege very young in Trinidad.
No, but like I'm talking about strictly like straight up white privilege, like that term.
Well,
what they say is white, like quote unquote.
Well,
like,
I don't feel like it's white privilege, but it's definitely like a foreign privilege.
It's
like
just
a
privilege.
different privilege. Yeah.
First world privilege.
It's like oh shit, like you get the freshest shit.
I guess we'll never reach that white privilege.
We'll never get there.
I try.
Yeah.
Too deep.
Damn, where was I going next? Yeah. Nah. I think where I was going next is celebrating we talked about it earlier, the union, the engagement. The engagement, you know, and like I was just personally curious, like what are your like honeymoon ideas? You know?
That's not another question.
No. But my question is like hot or cold? You guys gonna go somewhere hot or somewhere cold? You know, somewhere.
Always go somewhere hot. That'd be great. I think.
Yeah.
All right, my bad.
We don't know yet. We've been like throwing around random ideas that include like Croatia and like
Tulum.
Yeah, we want to go to. Yeah, we don't know. We have
a lot of things up our.
We do something, but we got a lot of other shit to plan.
We have a lot of shit going on.
But it's gonna be hot though, somewhere hot.
I think so. Hopefully.
That'd be nice.
Or it might just be like upstate.
And by upstate I mean Harlem.
Harlem Beach.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, this is another thing that I wanted to get into also. Sam, we about to run out of topics, but which is a good thing.
That's okay, because wait, this has not been charging the whole time?
Yeah, turn that thing on.
Mom's watching.
No, but y'all want to have kids too, right? Yeah, so yeah, like is that all about my question about that is that I want to have type of kids type of shit, or is that like
I want to have what?
I want to have kids, like I truly want to raise kids.
You.
I'm asking y'all, or is it
or do you want to be a single father?
No.
Sorry.
No, that's me. I'm gonna be a single father. I can't be loved. That's a whole other episode. No, but like, is that do you want to have kids? Is that to like, cause I grow my dreads out, you know, and I continue to play this classical music, you know, just so the next young black kid knows that they have an opportunity that can do it too. Mm-hmm. Saying, are you guys like? I'm just curious. You know,
pioneers for you.
How much is pioneers and how much is do you want to just generally want to raise some kids?
No, I don't think any is pioneers.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to.
I have no
example.
I think many
gay
couples have raised children
at this point.
I was gonna say I have no allegiance to the LGBT community.
They crazy.
No. I just why would I do it for them? Like not for them, but for like why would I mean, hey, you know,
would you have a black baby for the black community, Chris?
Let me explain. So your kid is top of the class. You know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, middle school, high school, and like he's like, yeah, my parents saying, and I'm assuming we're still going through this transition. And I think it's gonna take how many? Who knows how many years? For everybody to get fully comfortable, like what if your kid's gonna be like, yo, my parents say I'm too late.
But that's just a byproduct, right? It's just a well, you know, there's nothing to say like I won't be proud as fuck, and to be like, damn right, like all those skeptics out there that think like same-sex couples can't raise kids. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. And I think like if there's anyone that should like find that ridiculous, it's black women. And black kids who've been raised by single women, you know? I mean, if anyone were to find it ridiculous, it should be us. You know what I mean? That statement. But sure, that would just be a byproduct of like us raising a kid, but like it has nothing to do to say like, oh, I'm gonna show them. You know, and plus there's so many people out there already doing that. There's so many people have been parents. You know, there's been gay parents for as long as we know.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like,
but like under the umbrella of like, you know, they're a couple, they're gonna get married, they're gonna have kids. And that's what couples do. That's what people who get married do. Not everyone wants kids, but what I'm saying is like, these are all like natural progressions of what we were talking about before, a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having a family.
True. Yeah.
And you're trying to bring that into
Duty as a
society,
human.
as much as I hate the word, as a normalcy or something that's not looked upon as something out of the box.
Yeah.
Because normalcy can have different meanings. Like, you know, you kind of want it to be, you don't want to have a negative connotation on anything.
Right.
You just want to be part of society. That's what you want.
Just want to live.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think it falls under like kind of like the same umbrella, you know.
Yeah,
Of what you were
we
tweet-
feel really like normal about the whole thing, and,
Right.
and people come and ask us like all kinds of questions about like
All kinds of
having kids, and we realize like how different people see it for like two women to have kids. But yeah, for us it just comes from like a genuine desire to do it and to do it together. Like
Mhm.
I didn't even fully know that I wanted kids until we were together and like in a really solid place and realizing that we wanted the same things. So I think that like we think of it all as very typical. Yeah.
I was gonna say like what your mom mentioned, funny story. They tweeted about the. I gotta have to tell.
Oh
first
yeah,
gay wedding or
oh the
something.
wedding, yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, when her mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna."
Her
mom was like,
Who's
that
mom?
was funny.
Lindsay's mom
So what?
was, she was like, "So what, like something about a gay, lesbian wedding, like." This is the first lesbian wedding Lindsay that would ever be to. Or she was asking like, what should she call,
Okay,
like this wedding?
you're fucking up the story.
Lindsay, tell the story.
She
Sorry,
called me
man.
and she's like, so what's the PC term? Is it like lesbian wedding? Is it like lesbian? And I'm like, for what?
Wedding.
What are you describing? Like, why do you have to call it anything? And then she's like, oh, I'm emailing the family. And I'm like, what? What are you saying about that?
Everybody is welcome to come to Lindsay's lesbian.
That's totally what I was picturing. I'm like, why are you saying that? And then she's like, oh, I'm making a joke. So she was emailing the family after we sent out our like save the dates, right?
Okay.
She wanted to like acknowledge it and be like, hey, we're all excited. And she made a joke at the end that said, this will be Lindsay's first gay wedding. Because I'd never been to a gay wedding. I told her that. So she thought it was funny, but I totally was freaked out. Like, why are you calling? Or one time too, she was like, so is it like, should I say bride and bride, or
Yeah.
Well, that's
what's
a
the right
genuine-
term? And I'm like,
Somebody's
but for
genuine
what? Like,
questions.
what do you need to put
To
that
know
on?
that, like, what
She's
is-
like, well, I guess nothing. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we have those funny
Yeah.
moments with like wedding stuff and with like potential kid stuff. And
Right. It's just like the
it surprises
like,
us because we don't think about
other
it.
people are like really overthinking things, but we're
Yeah.
like not.
Just like it's
you
a
know?
wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like I've seen like gay couples with kids before. It wasn't like something new to me, but I was just curious to know why you guys were doing it. Like, like if you guys just naturally, like if you sincerely wanted kids, or if you just, because I definitely want to see somebody look at me with my same eyes, my same hair. I want to pass these good genes on. Well, yeah, but like,
Where's the question?
So is that what
We
it's
don't
been
know.
about for you?
Like, is it like
Strategy for you,
Let's
Chris?
challenge that a little bit.
nah, like sometimes like
because you'd be surprised. A lot of men feel that way.
yeah. No, for real. Like when I check out
Would you be surprised?
when I check out a girl like I look at like genetic things like I don't know what it is, where it comes from, saying inside of me, but I have looked at those things, like
That you would like want to see in your kid, or that?
Yeah, as far as personality traits or like
Strong arms.
You
like
went
stuff-
with personality first, though.
Yeah.
No, like if she's like a very like a chill type of a person, I'm assuming like my child is gonna pick up some of that off of her, you know, and if somebody has like like my last girl, like she had like really thick hair and I got really thick hair, you know, so I was like, damn, our kid's hair is gonna be fucking crazy, you know, like and like the girl before that, like we were both like pseudo athletic. I'm like, damn, maybe we can make an athlete or some shit. Maybe that's how I think.
I don't think I've ever thought about.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I've ever thought about like making like the
Super
perfect
baby.
kid.
I think it is
You know?
something that men are.
Even
Life
like when
socialized
it's
thinking about a
like
lot.
Hey, maybe it's a man.
You know, I think
that's what I thought about at least.
I think genetics is a bit overrated because
anything can happen.
None of us have great genes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of us in this room have like spectacular genes.
Both of my grandmothers in their 90s right now.
There's so many things that like you're saying, like your personality. Yeah. Those are learned things.
Exactly. Right.
So maybe, you know, maybe like hair or eyebrows or shape of your mouth or some of that. But personality has everything to do with who you grew up with. You know, so there's people who like didn't grow up with their dad, like Obama. You know, and he's like fighting to see what his dad's like because he's trying to see what's similar. You just realize, you know, I'm my own fucking person. Like, your kid will be their own person, and they will take certain things from you. Maybe they take their swagger from you, or they take certain, you know. But you know, it's not. Once, if we are blessed, you know, to bring our child into this world, I think once that moment happens, that's all that there's going to be. And there's so many people out there that genetically rated kids and don't give a fuck about them. There's so many people out there genetically rated to kids and have never spent a day with them. So like, how important is genetic, or is it that like you have caring parents, that you are lucky enough to go through this world with 2 caring parents or 5 caring guardians, or you know what I mean? What's the priority? Because you can make a kid into anything if you really wanted to. You know,
just force them right into it.
You can, yeah. I mean, all the greatest
you're gonna be.
All the greatest people that we know, half of them probably forced into whatever great thing that we know them to be, if not naturally good at it. But
they're going to be in these child,
you know, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, like what the fuck? Where did his genetics come from? His dad wasn't around.
Let's talk about that, man.
His mom was like regular ass woman, and he's fucking like a genius. So, you know, I don't know. I have mixed opinions.
You know, it's funny about him too, because when he raises kids, he lets them do ever. He doesn't like. If they want to play with that, it breaks, fine, buy a new one. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, different ways to parent, but yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Funny,
How do you know this?
I saw things differently.
I met him a couple times.
Chris is like, I'm not convinced.
I don't know, but yeah, of course, yeah. A lot of people always have questions for us like that, so it's a normal question.
Yeah, I think it's like a natural thing.
Do
you feel like that Max the Pug has somehow prepared you to deal with a little thing?
Yeah,
you know?
that's real. We were just talking about like this whole like step-parent dynamic situation that she has going on with Max.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because you're the original parent, right?
I'm the biological
mother.
We can tell.
She definitely has a much more of a bond with Lindsay, you know?
Yeah,
and I'm much more of the like authority figure.
Yeah.
And the way it plays out, like obviously the responsibility piece, but also it's like the way Chanell would like discipline or set limits with her versus like me feeling bad for her and like being, you know, giving in, and she'll be like, this is how it's gonna be.
Said Chanell too many times.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a little.
I mean, for the record, Max was a much chiller pug than Gouda.
Oh my
recording.
God.
Yeah.
Can't be talking shit
Gouda
about.
required lots.
Can't be talking shit about the pugs on the podcast.
It's just a difference of age. We can talk about it anyway.
Don't be disrespecting the other
Gouda
pugs.
needs a lot.
Shout out to Little Gouda, my nephew.
Shout out to Velocity Music, we just did the episode. We got a little bit of respect over there. Yeah. No, but I think you guys answered all the questions I had on my list. You guys got any extras?
I wanted to go back because I think I kind of got off topic. I wanted to go back to that the jealousy thing.
Oh shit!
Or whatever.
Yeah, I had some in there.
Wait, you jealous too?
No.
How you jealous?
No, I was.
That's such like a big topic.
Because I think I heard you say something and I went off into another
Right.
tangent. I might have came out wrong. But anyway, no, like in my own experience with like
Jealousy?
jealousy. I don't know. It's not like jealousy, but like with my girlfriend, like I've seen things that these like micro advancements
From
that I
other
see
guys?
men do that really just piss me off so much. It's like they're talking to her extremely nice, you know, and then for no reason they touch
Yo, what the fuck is so funny?
No, I'm just like, I just don't understand why they're touching her. You know, like, why are you touching her? Like what you said before.
Elbow that shit.
Yeah, no, but I'm like serious. I'm like, why are you doing that?
I don't play that shit neither.
And why did you just do it 10 times?
Yeah.
You know? No, there was this one time where like we went to her like friend's bar, you know, like, or he was like serving beer there because he works at like a brewery or something. And like we were with a group of friends, and he goes right past us and like hugs Yeti. He's like, oh hey, you know. I'm like, I hate this guy. I really hate this guy. And he's like smiling. He smiled for 2 hours. And I was like, and I told her, I was like, I don't like him. You know, she's like, hey, what do you think? I'm like, you know, oh, they haven't seen each other in a while. So I don't know if it was like jealousy. I wasn't like blaming.
Sounds like
maybe I was blaming.
Sounds like
something.
you were jealous. No, it sounds like you're blaming.
I guess I was jealous, but I was like quick to express that no one's ever that happy, and I don't understand why he was touching.
No, I think
clearly
no,
he's in love with you.
I think there's a.
Hey, what's up,
Maybe.
man? Like, oh, and then there's like that smile, but not smile, like, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's a beauty in that though, because like I never really know how much I like a girl until I get to that moment. You know what I'm saying? You know, like.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck you talk? Like, and it can be the smallest shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I'm trying to learn to control that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like.
It's our primal human.
But there are like,
nature.
there's certain things that just
sense you up.
don't make sense in like
Yeah.
talking. You know, like I don't know, like what that meant. And then there's been times where I'm standing next to my girlfriend, and the guy's talking to her. I'm just standing there, and then we'll be talking, conversation.
Yeah.
And then something comes out that I'm her boyfriend. I would give it maybe 10 seconds where they walk away.
Yeah.
Before they walk away. And it's like, why are you talking to her? You know, or why are you talking to us?
Mm-hmm.
What is your motive here?
Yeah.
You know, like this is like.
I hate to break. She's very pretty.
Okay. Yeah. She's very pretty. I'm saying.
Sometimes I might linger in conversation with her, and it possibly might be.
At
least,
pretty,
but
I'm not
yeah.
like I understand like.
But I feel like you bring up a point
How do you
where it's like,
deal
why is it that men just can't fucking have a conversation? Like why? Like why is it? Why? Like this is the.
Testosterone.
I've been around so many men, and I feel like being gay, and just like being like a woman who like likes other feminine women. It's just you just see men just doing it all wrong. It's just like that's wrong. She's not gonna fall for it. Stupid. And I'm just like, and this is just my brain. I'm just like laughing to myself because it's all really fucking silly. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, okay, if this is a game that I'm playing, and I'm just playing for the fuck of it, like that could be fun, right? If it's just like a fun game, I tell myself, well, I'm just gonna like talk to her because this is like a game. This is fun. I just want to see if I can get to the end. You know?
I think that's definitely a thing.
You know what I mean? But like at the same time, it's like I feel like men. Like the most men that I see doing this stuff is just like,
yeah, honestly.
And is it possible that they walk
fooling?
away after hearing that you're boyfriend because they're like, oh, I don't want to appear like I'm hitting on her in front of you?
I'm like a run. I don't know. I can't.
No,
I don't know.
The game
Is that?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Maybe it could be game's over. It could be like an awkwardness of how do you.
What I'm saying is like I don't think they care what she has to say.
right.
You know, like I don't care.
I mean, I would
like,
think that's how she feels.
She knows.
But I'm just wondering, like, as you, from the perspective of a dude,
I'm glad you brought this up.
I'm just saying they don't care about the interaction.
One of the couples that we're gonna interview, saying is like the way they deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it turns them on.
Is it kind of feeling?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag love episode.
Yeah, I'm saying. I think for other people that turns them on, like when you know you got that shit on lock, when you know you got your girl on lock, you know what I'm saying? Saying it's like
you let them buy you a drink. I don't want to pay for that shit.
You look at motherfuckers like, alright, you motherfucker over here, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a thing for some people. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
Not for me personally. So I'm gonna just have.
But I also do think that as a male, like I'm definitely guilty of doing some dumb shit like that. But it's just like trying to shoot your shot.
I don't know
at all
what
times, you know, like that's just like we were watching like Planet Earth. Ellen will do some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? But do you think it's important?
I think that.
Do you think at the end of it all, is it like an important like thing that you're doing?
I think that people think it's important, or like people like that's the hyper masculinity, like that whole culture thing. We're like raised to be like, yo, you gotta get in there, bro. You know, I remember some of the glory stories. Like my mentor, like people would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, this one guy, he was just like terrible. Like he wasn't attractive. He's like, but he would always shoot his shot. He'd be like, you want to go on a date? You want to go on a date? No. And he would always have a date on Friday. And some girls are like, oh wow, he's
like,
how will this change?
So it's like probability.
Probably it's a probability thing. You're shooting a shot because you don't know. Like as a guy, you just don't know. You're like, she's probably gonna say no, but
yeah.
It's such a different approach. I don't think it's the best approach.
Yeah.
But
Why can't you wait till you get some signal and you know that this person might be?
Well, a lot of times we don't know. We can't read the signals.
Sometimes you be waiting.
Maybe you need to learn a little bit there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you be waiting for a long time.
I don't think we can ever learn.
Facebook has so many articles about like body language that just come.
But you know what's interesting to me is that the majority of conversations that I have with men are mostly like real conversations. Mm-hmm. Which I think they don't spend the time with, and I don't have these conversations often, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't drink, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking like as a brass player now. Mm-hmm. I don't drink. I don't like love like. It's hard to like go and do dumb shit when you're not drinking or doing drugs. So when I am like I have a moment with a guy, I'm talking to them on a real level that I feel like maybe they spent 5% of their lives talking to women who are not gay. And they are interested in, on a real level, like that maybe 5%. And most of the time, when they get to that point with that woman becomes their girlfriend or a very serious, a more serious relationship.
What do you think about?
But I feel like all the other 95% that's wasted on like this like dumb shit that like means nothing is like, it's like the minutes in the day.
Well, no, I mean,
no. I just mean like how the conversations are brought up. Because you can have casual sex with someone that you had a good conversation with, or not. But I'm talking about the way that they approach it.
Well, so a lot of men think that you can't have female friends. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Like Steve Harvey's.
Yeah, women have told me that.
Well, that too. Like some girls are just like, you can't have
every man I've ever heard say that says except me. And I'm always like, you're the exception, huh?
Who are the women that tell you that? The women that you are in a relationship with that's talking about your friends that are girls?
No.
I've never heard a woman say that. I've only heard men say that. And almost every man I've ever heard say that says, but I can do it. As though I'm the only one.
Don't say her name, but Crazy.
I know who you're talking about.
Exactly.
What about her?
She had told me that guys and girls can't be friends.
Well, there's a reason that you call her Crazy. She's reinforcing the sexism that's been placed upon her.
Point taken.
Anyhow, that's just my take on it. I feel like women on this perspective have like a certain type of view about it. So anyhow, let's
anyway. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Almost skipped this whole portion right here. What's it called? If you guys wanted to give any advice, like any medicine, to like any like couples or like aspiring couples going to the point. I should have hit y'all with this in the email. My bad. But yeah, but if y'all know, like, if you have any advice or any medicine to give, so any pills, any elixirs, any.
Or like summaries of things that you've already said, maybe that.
Of things that you could like say. So like what has helped you guys in your relationship that you would pass on to somebody else? Like one thing you learned from her, like one thing Lindsay learned from Chanell, Chanell's learned from Lindsay, like, and that you could pass on to like another couple to make them stronger. This is the whole medicine cat. That's what it's all about right here, right now, this moment.
No pressure.
Okay. Of course, it doesn't have to be like
I mean,
years.
I'm gonna go to some basic
Hey.
necessity, I think, which is like learning how to really communicate genuinely and like openly. I think the times when we've had the hardest conversations, like we can't always articulate it in the moment, but like you can't just sit with your own, you know, tough feelings about things. Like you have to talk through it, and that's like the only way I know to continue to grow and progress in our relationship and like learn to not like hurt each other, you know, in reoccurring ways, like how to really respect each other. So I think that's essential, and that's like easier said than done. It takes a lot of time to develop that and to trust someone to be able to communicate that way, but without it, things start to like go downhill in the wrong way for quite a while, and then you realize it later that like nothing was ever really, those real feelings weren't discussed, and then it's too late. So I think like that's
Yeah, I waited too long to say what to get off my chest. So I really need to say, because what I generally tend to do is bury my shit deep. You know what I'm saying? I keep it down, and then it all explodes at once. You know, like,
Sagittarius.
but that never works.
It doesn't usually work well in a relationship.
It never
but
works.
It's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
And I would say just like just basic shit. Just like get your basic things together first. You know what I mean? Like, don't rush into anything. Make sure that you're both like able to be on the same page that you need to be on. And you know what I mean? I think a person that's willing to see you grow and grow together is better than someone expecting you to be where you're not. You know, so it's just both basic stuff. Like,
Yeah, and I think what's grounded is that is like really like learning yourself and taking care of yourself and your needs. You know, like looking to
Personally.
someone else, personally, yeah. Looking to someone else to do that for you
Doesn't
seem to
work.
for very long. Yeah.
That's good shit. I needed that.
Yeah.
What's it called? Damn, that was so good. I forgot my next question. Damn. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything like? Is there a symptom that might come up? You know what I'm saying? Like you see something toxic in the person you're dating. Is there like a red flag that you want to tell somebody? If you see this, get out. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything like that?
The one thing.
Is there like a one thing that you know what I'm saying?
Toilet seat up.
Broke niggas?
If you broke, get the fuck out.
No, seriously though.
damn. I mean,
Yeah, that's tough.
That's like, I don't even know.
It's probably hard to.
I mean, have you ever been in a conversation with someone and shit just goes south? Like in your own brain, you're just like,
And you stop listening to them?
you're just like,
And they still
you're
talking to
just
you?
like, what the fuck?
And
is
shit's just still going
talking
south?
about? Like, have you ever been? I've been on dates like that, and you're just like, oh, I think Matt just farted, baby.
What's on you?
You still don't
It's getting to that age where there's not really a filter.
Anyhow, but I don't really know. There's a lot of red flags, and I feel like we pick up on it naturally. You know what I mean? Like, so many red flags, and people still pass and power through them. Don't power through the red flags.
No,
please.
but I will say, like, you can have a reaction to something that's not even, like, really the thing you think it is, or you can work through it. Like, honestly, I think there's a happy medium there. Like, know what your red flags are, but, like, I feel like I know people
Know
to,
what the
like,
problem
instantly run at the first sign of, like, any kind of discomfort or something unpleasant from that person, and, like, you can't be in a relationship without dealing with those things. So it's just a matter of, like, what you can work through, what's workable, and then what's like a deal breaker, like things like.
If you're on a first date and you feel miserable within the conversation, that might be a tough
You can go with that.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? Nah, that's great. That's great. Like the thing is, like, you gotta work on this shit, and you gotta be willing to work on this shit, you know?
Yeah.
And like, and respects to all of that. So we put in some time, I'm saying, and like, I want to thank you. Check out Chanell and Lindsay at Tubafresh. Is that what else? Give them the plugs.
Yeah, Tubafresh.com.
Yeah.
We have stuff coming up. This is gonna be out in March.
It's gonna be out in March.
So, like, we have stuff coming up.
Nah, it should be late February, early March. That's the plan. Because I want to do like Black History Month and Women's Month.
Yeah.
All at the same time, hit that shit.
Social work month.
Okay, so in April we're going on a tour. So check us out, Tubafresh.com.
Hey.
All right, y'all got the news. Tubafresh.com. Saying and y'all MedCab, you know where to find us. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. If you got any questions, saying hit us up at the email. Saying you'll get the tag in a second after the commercial. But all right, yeah, have a good one. Yo, thank you, Chanell and Lindsay,
Thanks, Chris.
for coming out and for having us, taking the time to give us medicine and information, you know, and like, cause I definitely learned a lot of shit today, saying not only about you guys, but also about myself. But yeah, Ben, thank you for coming out. Ben Brody, saying.
You're welcome.
Guest host with the most, saying.
Thank you.
Saying he was supposed to be the first host, but he's like.
I own this podcast.
That just came in real direct. Y'all heard that, right? He's writing the check. But yeah, no, thank you guys for listening. And till next time. Yeah, shout out to Max of the Pug.
Yeah.
What's the other pug's name? Before I turn this off, buddy?
Gouda.
Gouda, all right. Pug and Gouda back. Wasn't that sweet? Wasn't that sugar on top? Wasn't that extra syrup? Yeah, that's Tubafresh and Lindsay Slay. Y'all, God bless them too. I love them too. Saying, and God bless them for all the future endeavors. Saying everything to come. Saying to them. Saying I feel it. And I'm usually right. I'm a Sagittarius. But the featured artist we have for this episode is actually Tubafresh. Yeah, and the last EP she dropped was Extra Syrup. And I was going to drop the title track originally, but at the same time, that one song called Same Poison, not only does it match the vibe of the podcast, it's actually my favorite song off the EP. I can't bullshit. Yeah, it's just got a vibe to it. Saying you should definitely listen to that with your significant other. Just kind of lay down, say on the couch. Saying probably some wine, preferably rosé, you know, and and just talk, look in each other's eyes and figure it out. Saying I promise it's gonna be right. But yeah, check out the track, saying check out the whole EP, Extra Syrup. But that's the MedCab podcast right there. That's the first of the 3 love episodes. I know you feel the love in the air, saying, but catch you on the next one. Enjoy, and hit the subscribe button. Stop playing.